This E3 update is presented by State Farm.
All right, Rev3 Games here at E3 Vivid Touch booth location. I've always said,
You're only speaking in words now.
Yeah, the synapses are kind of going every other time here. We're with Tara because Tara has been able to move around the floor here, and you got to see one of the games that I think was quite notable, both in defining, I think, where Sony would like to go with the PlayStation 4, and also being a game that's great interest, is Jonathan Blow, the creator of Braid's new game, The Witness.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting game. When I first saw the trailer for this a while back, I thought, it looked gorgeous. We knew nothing about it then. I got a better sense of what it's about today, and he was very open about the game. There wasn't any PR spiel or anything. But basically, the panels that they show in the previous trailers, where there are lines on them, the entire puzzle mechanic of the game revolves around those. And it seems very simple, but it actually gets quite in depth. So you start the game in a tunnel. You don't know anything about yourself. You don't know anything about the world that you're in. And you walk out of the tunnel and you enter the world, and you just start exploring. It's a very open world game. It's not linear at all. The world is divided up into sort of 10 different spots, and each spot has its own sort of biome almost. There's like a snowy area, there's like an old Japanese looking temple, there's a castle, and each of those areas has a set of puzzles that is specific to that area. And it starts off simple, and it gets more involved, and the puzzles become incorporated into the environment as you start to play through it.
But this is what's so interesting, it's open world.
Yes.
So it's not kind of saying there's an order in which to approach these puzzles.
No, it's the game is very exploration based, and that's sort of, I think, part of the charm of it, right? Is that there's not a whole lot of backstory there. You just sort of figure things out on your own. And Braid was kind of similar in that way, but I think this is better for people who maybe have more trouble getting into puzzle games. Like in Braid, if you get stuck, that's it. You're stuck. Like, if you can't figure it out, you're screwed. Here, you can always leave and go to a different area if you want and try something else.
Exactly. You're not halting the progression of the game with the puzzle.
And he was saying during his presentation, he considers this a puzzle adventure game, just without all of the things that he hates about adventure games. The fact that they hold your hand all the time.
That you're trying to sort of second guess kind of the strange logic of the puzzle designer.
A lot of the puzzles here do have multiple ways that you can solve them.
Oh,
also.
wow.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to do. I think also, just with this example right here, the puzzles present themselves as puzzles. It's not puzzle embedded into some kind of tortured use of the environment.
That is exactly what he said during his presentation, actually. He said that it was really important to sort of make you realize that it's a puzzle, so you're not just wondering what to do next, which is another problem that a lot of adventure games have.
Very
it's
much
what
so.
do I even do? So once you unlock these worlds, as soon as each area, like I said, has a sequence of puzzles that sort of gets more difficult as you go along. And if you unlock the last one, you create a light beam from that place to this mountain, basically, which is sort of the end game location. And you don't have to have all 10 unlocked to get there. He said you only have to have 7 out of the 10 to be able to finish the game. But if you do unlock all 10, if you're a completionist, you have a better ending to the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and apparently it does sort of start to explain the backstory, and there is some voice acting later in the game.
Which is going to be Braid. Really the goal was to kind of put together what was so sort of unclear about the situation. So
exactly.
Are you also sort of revealing something about the character or you or the world?
Yeah, he said that there would be revelations about your character and all that stuff. I don't know what those revelations would be. I have no idea.
We just go to him not to
and I was almost trying to look away when he was solving certain puzzles, because I was like, no, don't tell me how this works, but it's very cool.
I think the last thing is, this was done in a special demo room over at the Sony booth. That's usually reserved for Killzone, sort of those big games. I find it quite notable that Sony would give equitable space and kind of grandeur to what we're supposed to see as a smaller indie game.
Oh yeah, well it has timed exclusivity on the PS4, so he seems to be backing Sony pretty well. And you know what, I gotta say, he's a great presenter. He is very eloquent, and he can describe the systems of his game in a way that nobody else can except him. And it was just a fantastic presentation overall, and a fantastic looking game.
Well, thank you for going and looking at a cool game.
Of course.
On my behalf.
You're welcome.
All right, Tara. Of course, there's, more stuff from Tara and Max and, Horse Me going slowly crazy right here at the Vivid Touch booth. Check it out. There's all those videos that are here at youtube.com/rev3games. And hit subscribe. It makes me smile inside.
Remember, in real life, you can't just reload your last save. Take your insurance game to the next level. Visit statefarm.com.